The brutal reality check. There's a famous story from a Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting where a young investor asked Charlie Munger for his best advice for someone starting out. Munger, known for his brutal honesty, didn't talk about complex option strategies or secret stock tips. He leaned into the microphone and said, "The first $100,000 is a nightmare, but you have to do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't bought with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on 100,000. After that, you can ease off the accelerator a bit." Why was a billionaire, a man who managed hundreds of billions, so obsessed with a number like 100,000? In the grand scheme of the Berkshire Empire, that amount is a rounding error. It's what they earn in a fraction of a second. But for you and for every self-made millionaire in history, that number is the great financial filter. It is the point where the laws of physics in your bank account literally change. Today, we are exploring the Munger logic behind the first 100K. We'll understand the cruel math, the psychological warfare you'll have to wage against yourself, and the exact strategy to cross that finish line so the engine of wealth can finally take over. The physics of financial gravity. To understand why the first $100,000 feels like a nightmare, you have to understand the concept of financial gravity. When you start at zero, you are at the bottom of a deep gravity well. Every dollar you earn is being pulled back down by taxes, rent, food, and the constant urge to consume. At this stage, your money has zero lift. If you have $1,000 and you get a fantastic 10% annual return, you've made $100. In today's world, $100 doesn't change your life. It doesn't pay a single meaningful bill. Because the reward is so small compared to the effort of saving, most people give up. They think, why bother saving when the return is so tiny? I'd rather buy those new sneakers or go out to dinner. This is the fatal mistake. They don't realize that in the beginning, the return on your investment doesn't matter. What matters is your savings rate. From 0 to 100K, your SWOT and your labor do 99% of the work. You are the engine. You are the fuel. You are the one pushing the boulder up the mountain. Munger's logic is that you must accept this brutal reality. You are not investing yet. You are accumulating. You are building the machine that will eventually do the work for you. But until that machine has enough parts, until it hits 100,000, you have to provide all the power yourself. The math of the tipping point. Let's look at the numbers, because numbers don't have emotions and they don't lie. Imagine two people, investor A and investor B. Both invest $10,000 a year with a 7% annual return. Investor A takes about 7.8 years to hit the first 100K. During that time, he took $78,000 out of his own pocket. The market gave him only about $22,000 in interest. It was a long, slow, and painful journey. Now, look at investor B, who has already crossed the desert and has the 100K. To go from 100K to 200K, a gain of another 100K, it takes only 5.1 years. To go from 200K to 300K, only 3.7 years. By the time he's going from 800K to 900K, it will take just over a year. Do you see what's happening? The amount of labor required to gain 100K decreases exponentially as your capital increases. At 100K, your money starts to have a voice. At $1 million, your money is screaming. Charlie Munger knew that once you hit 100,000, the engine of compounding finally has enough horsepower to overcome the gravity of costs. This is the escape velocity of wealth. If you can reach this height, you stop being a slave to your paycheck and start becoming a partner with your capital. The mental model, delayed gratification. Why is it a nightmare? Because to get there, you have to fight human nature. Munger often spoke about evolutionary psychology. Our brains were wired for a world of scarcity that existed 50,000 years ago. When our ancestors found a fruit tree, they had to eat everything immediately because there was no way to store it. Today, that same instinct tells you to spend it while you have it. To reach 100K, you have to apply the mental model of inversion. Instead of asking, how can I get rich fast? Ask, What will definitely keep me poor? High interest debt will keep you poor. Buying a new car on credit will keep you poor. Trying to impress people you don't even like will keep you poor. Munger's strategy was simple: avoid stupidity. He lived in the same house for 60 years. He traveled coach long after he was a millionaire. He wasn't a cheapskate, he was a strategist. He knew that a dollar saved today at age 25 isn't just a dollar. At a 7% return, that dollar is worth 30 times more by the time you retire. When you spend $100 on a fancy dinner you don't need, you aren't just spending $100. In Munger's mind, you are spending $3,000 of your future freedom fund. When you see the world through this lens, the nightmare of saving becomes a game of chess. The circle of competence on the road to success. During the journey to 100K, you will be tempted. You will see people getting 1,000% returns on digital coins or speculative stocks. This is where Munger's circle of competence becomes your shield. Most people fail to reach 100K because they try a shortcut, get burned, and have to start all over from zero. Munger's logic was, it's not supposed to be easy. Anyone who finds it easy is stupid. To hit the first milestone, you must focus on increasing your active income, your salary, your business, your skills. Your work is the most reliable way to fuel your investment engine in the beginning. Don't try to be a hero in the stock market with your first $5,000. Be a hero in your career, save the surplus, and put it into high-quality productive assets. The goal isn't to find the next big thing. The goal is to reach 100K as fast as possible so that math can take over the heavy lifting. The Lollapalooza effect of wealth. When you finally hit 100K, what Munger called the Lollapalooza effect happens. It's when several forces move in the same direction to create a massive result. First, the mathematical force. Your interest is now significant enough to reinvest and grow on its own. Second, the habit force. By saving 100K, you've built the muscles of discipline. You no longer find it hard to save. It's part of who you are. And third, the psychological force. You no longer feel desperate. You have a safety net that allows you to make better, more rational decisions because you aren't acting out of fear. These forces combine to turn the nightmare into a dream. You've passed the filter. You are now part of the small percentage of the population that understands how wealth actually works. Conclusion: the person you become. Charlie Munger's advice about the first 100,000 wasn't just about the money. It was about the transformation. The nightmare is what shapes you. It burns away your bad habits. It destroys your impulsivity. It forces you to become rational. Once you have that first 100K, you don't just have capital, you have character. You've proven to the universe that you can handle wealth, and that more than the money itself is why the first milestone is the most important of your life. This is Munger's money logic. If you're in the middle of the nightmare right now, stay the course. The stone is heavy, the climb is steep, but the view from the top, where the engine finally starts, is worth every sacrifice. Subscribe and join us as we deconstruct the practical wisdom of the world's greatest thinkers. What is your strategy to hit your first 100K? Tell us in the comments. Keep the discipline, stay rational,